to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life for truly on your own terms. We really want to thank every single person that has subscribed to the channel. We appreciate, love you so much. Special shout out to our Patreon family. Yeah. Thank you so much for supporting us on that platform, beloveds, and just for all the, words of encouragement, good vibes, prayer, and resonance. Overstanding. I feel so overstood, understood, and understood there, and among our YouTube family as well. There's so much happening, beloveds. There's so much that I talked about at the beginning of the year and last year that I'm starting to understand why I felt such an urgency to share certain messages and why so many truthers have been sharing their messages and why there's been this movement where, a lot of the chosen ones are being pushed into storing their own food, growing their own food. Beloveds, that's what I've been urging you. Grow your own food as much as possible and, store up the food. But with the article I'm about to share with you and just the information that's come out, and this came out a while back. It was actually something that was talked about in late 2020, and now it's become, there's different news articles that have appeared about edible vaccines. How they're now going to start putting the jibby jabs in people's food. And they talk about how some of the vaccines that they've already tried out are like for rabies, they used, they tried it with tobacco and spinach. For hepatitis B, they used potato, tobacco, and bananas. For HIV, they used tomatoes. And for Vibrio cholerae, they used whatever that is. Oh, cholera. They used potatoes. And basically, what they're saying is that these experimental edible vaccines, which offer protection against diarrhea. They were developed, some that were developed, against diarrhea were developed using potatoes, rice, and bananas as vaccinating agents. And so basically to prepare, so for example, with the banana vaccine, it's made through a process which begins with an altered form of the virus being injected into a banana plant, and then the genetic material of the virus then becomes a significant and permanent part of plant cells. Beloveds, we are in the days of Frankenstein. These are the Frankenstein days. And you can see that if you do not take your life in your own hands and start living in your own narrative, start living in your own homestead, and cut yourself, work on your addictions to Babylon, move away from Babylon. If you do not do this, beloveds, then you are really sentencing yourself to hell on earth. Because there are a lot of things. I mean, if this is already appearing in mainstream media, which is basically their propaganda machine, then best believe that it's been beta tested and it's probably already operational somewhere out there. And this really makes me question when we look at potatoes, tomatoes, bananas have been used as these agents. They're like the injection, you eat it and you. It starts to make me wonder about this whole agricultural revolution that's been taking place across Africa. And if you look at my Patreon, there's an article I shared from Tanzania where, farmers that were storing or exchanging indigenous seeds were being threatened with jail. All of a sudden. So the agenda of food, remember, beloveds, I did, and I'll make a playlist on everything I've done about eating. Because to survive this and not be affected by all the poisons that could be in your food, you really have to start vibrating higher. at the most. I mean, if you have absolutely no choice, and I know a lot of people I'm speaking to really have no choice right now. So I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to be in fear. But you'd better start making that thing of eating a very deep spiritual ritual where you remove any energy of harm and you replace it with energy of, transformation, building, love, etc., etc. We better learn to talk to our food, to talk to our water. But all the ultimate goal is to grow our own food, even if you just start with a few onions or a little cabbage patch or some salad. Just start with something. Start where you are with what you have, because I didn't even, when I said food had been weaponized, beloveds, I didn't even recognize it was on this level. This is really, I mean, so if they can put that in there, imagine what else they can put in the food. And I told you they have to tell us what they're doing so that that can now come into play in our reality. If we don't know about it, it doesn't affect us. Or they can't roll it out and have it be such a mass thing because it's a consensus reality. We kind of have to agree to partake in it. So for me, whenever I see them rolling out with the new discoveries, like I know a lot of you wanted me to talk about Dr. Death and this death machine that's been invented in Switzerland. Maybe I'll do a show on it. But with all these, they've existed before. But now that they're going to be rolled out on such a massive scale, they have to be talked about so that they can even just penetrate the conscious reality, so that they can find a footing and a root in the natural world, which unfortunately we're steering, but with our totally hijacked consensus, group consciousness, it's not happening the way it should. But beloveds, I share this story to remind you, please get out of Babylon, or start to create that connection, that bridge with your spiritual team, with your ancestors, with the Most High, so that even if you can't right now, the Spirit will get you out of there one way or another. Really try and grow your own food. And beloveds, there's also like a lot of African farmers out there who are struggling, and not even on the motherland. If we look at African American farmers, there's a whole, I think they've even created a website where they're shipping across the country. These are the links to support. Support one another. They need you because, they've totally been starved of money. You need them because hopefully you can rely on them to produce the right thing. But beloveds, food has really been weaponized. And today, your government is telling you what they're doing to you. Tomorrow, it will just happen. And you see the greatest, I don't even know how to put this, the deepest spell that humanity is under is the spell of sleep. And that spell of sleep was started when they started even putting fluoride in water and things like that. But that spell of sleep has been going on and on and on. And you see, as people go more into the New World Order agenda where they're giving up their freedoms, they won't have a say in what happens to them. And many won't even know. So disconnect from Babylon. Because Babylon controls you because they feed you, they entertain you, they educate you, they tell you how to pray, they pay you. Be careful out there, beloveds. Tuko pamoja.